Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 16 of Season 3 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the UAW Dodge 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're getting set for 41 laps of racing here at this big D-shaped mile-and-a-half racetrack. Now before we take a look at the starting lineup, let's take a look and see how the point standings look coming into the race today. So after last week at Sonoma, huge shakeup in the top 5 in the points. New points leader James Qualls, and he leads by 10 points over David Rivera. Third is Charles Sanford. Fourth is Dylan Jacobs. Fifth, Emmanuel Hartnett. Sixth is both Zach Flickinger and Dylan Young. Eighth, Johnny Gardner. Ninth, Joshua Sekuli. And then 10th, DJ Curtis. The wildcard drivers right now would be Pichu London and Chris Dollarton, as they are both inside the top 30 in points and outside the top 10 in points with a victory. So it's Dollarton and London right now as the wildcard drivers. But with that said, let's look at the lineup. Starting in the last row is James Shelley and Sean Galligan. Top 10, Seth Cole is on the pole for today, and starting next to him is Dylan Poteet. Row 2 is Pichu London and Charles Sanford. Row 3 is Dylan Thoreau, Jessica Shelton. Row 4, Rafael LeDuc and Joshua Sekuli. And then row 5, Jake Rogers and Dorian Facepuncher. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the UAW Dodge 400 at Las Vegas.
Drivers, start your engines!
So now the cars are rolling out onto the racetrack for their one pace lap around here. So this is going to be an interesting race, because in the past, here on this YouTube channel, whenever we race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it tends to be a wreck fest. But I have done some testing, and we might be in for a good race here. We just gotta wait and see what happens as this race progresses. Taking a look from the spectator's camera, it's a really interesting view from up here. As we await the pace car to get into pit road, and there it goes. And we are finally going to be set for racing here at Vegas for the first time in a long time. Boogity, 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 let's go racing. Well, it was Dylan Poteet who led the first lap, and now Dylan Thoreau goes to the point up at the front of the field. And here comes Rafael LeDuc, who has been slowly working his way back up into the point standings, but he did end up losing a wild card spot to Pichu London when he fell out of the top 10 in the point standings. And now LeDuc's stuck in the middle between Poteet and DJ Curtis. As long as they don't lean, they should be okay. But speaking of DJ Curtis, he's now going to go by Jake Rogers for the second position on the racetrack. And look at Trent Dunham still trying to get through that 3 wide mess that LeDuc has been in the middle of, and is going to go by for third. And right behind him is Paul Minnick, running that classic Indianapolis 2005 paint scheme. And here comes last week's winner, Dylan Jacobs, running the Wix Filters car this week. He's already moved himself up into the top 5, and now Matt McIntyre in that Napa Auto Parts number 24, he's into the picture as well. And then that Deadpool car, first start in quite a while for Joshua Collard, and he's looking to get his 4th win of his career, first of the season. Back up here at the front, Dylan Thoreau still hangs on to the top spot, and right behind him is DJ Curtis, right on the back bumper. Now, interesting thing for Dylan Thoreau next season, because this will officially be David Rivera's farewell season on this farewell season in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, as well as on this YouTube channel with NR. We need a new driver in the number 6, and due to the sign-ups, Dylan Thoreau has decided to take over the mantle of the number 6 car. So Dylan Thoreau will move from Joe Gibbs Racing to Roush Racing in Season 4. And right now, he's been holding off that 14 pretty well, but maybe the 14's just maybe playing mind games with him a little bit. And now he's running an even lower lane. That's because he had to actually block the 43 of Joshua Collard, who is now going to come underneath for a run for second. So, position change for the second position up here. Dylan Poteet's now back up here into the mix as well, and he's got Zach Flickinger behind him. Flickinger's, for a rookie this season, he has been rather excellent this season. He comes into the race, like I said, 6th in the championship standings. He moved up from 11th to 6th in the points, and actually ties for 6th with Dylan Young. 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Still looking for his first win of his career in this series. Thought I saw the yellow lights come on. I guess I was just seeing things. But nonetheless, the 11 of Dylan Thoreau has just been hanging on to that lead for quite a bit already. Flickinger trying to go underneath a Poteet. Oh, kind of shoved him out of the way a bit. And now here comes another farewell season driver, Austin LaPlante in the 48. Like I mentioned at, I believe it was either at Michigan or last week at Sonoma, this is Austin LaPlante's final season in the series and will be replaced by Alex Ferranti, who will be a rookie next season. Dougie Shears up here into the picture, and here comes David Rivera. Speaking of Rivera, he's up here now fighting for second. And you can tell Rivera, despite winning the championship last season, he wants to go for his second championship in a row, which has never been done in this series before. The closest person to do that was Dylan Young at the very tail end of the Walmart Cup Series days. But David Rivera hasn't gotten a win yet this season, but he is second in the championship standings. So yeah, like I said, he is looking to try and get his second straight championship. 4th overall, I believe. It'd be 3rd or 4th overall on this channel. But DJ Curtis now goes to the point, finally, after he spent so long trying to get to the lead. And now right behind him and about to try and take that position away is Benjamin Miles in the 55. Anthony McCrory in his first start in a little while. He's up here in the top 5. Oh, he kind of forced Trent Dunham down the apron a tad, but they keep it together for the most part. As Benjamin Miles is still trying to get on by that 14 car for the lead, as it's pretty tight in that 3-wide fight right there. And now it's about to be 3 wide for the lead, as here comes Trent Dunham with the run on the inside. And what a camera shot that was. Look at the view of the racing up here from the spectator's camera. Trent Dunham has that top spot for the time being, but here comes Matt McIntyre with Sean Galligan on his tail. 3 wide once again for the race lead. And I don't know how nobody's been leaning on each other to cause a crash, because usually when they're 3 wide, more often than not, they end up leaning on each other and causing a massive crash. But I don't want to jinx it, so I'm just going to shut up about that now. As, yeah, they're 3 wide for a couple of rows right here up towards the front of the field. As Matt McIntyre has taken over the lead, and here comes Carson Gum in the 19 Xfinity paint scheme. Paul Minnick's back up here into the picture, and look at Johnny Gardner. Oh, and there they crash! Oh, and Trent Dunham and Jay Jefferson both go into the catch fence or went upside down. And they are wrecking even more. Peachy London got a bit of it. Charles Sanford got a piece. So did Anthony McCrory. Oh, and I got a feeling that Rafael LeDuc just got some damage. Because I see, it looks like, I can't tell if it is, I think it is smoke coming out of the 99's car, so he might have gotten sideswiped in this mess. And yeah, he is done, so he must have sideswiped just barely, and it caused the motor to explode. Chris Dollerton with major damage, Tim Fiegel and Trent Dunham. DJ Curtis, who was just at the front of the field a little bit ago, he was involved. So a 3-car accident turned into a big one after the fact. So, man, crazy turn of events here in this race. As it looks like everyone is on pit road. And Matt McIntyre came in the pits as the leader. It's going to be a question of who's going to come out as the leader out of pit road. Camera shot right at the start-finish line that we just got right there. And it's looking like the 24 of Matt McIntyre is going to come out first. Paul Minnick's up there. I'm not sure if he stayed out or not. We'll find out who the official leader will be when we get back racing, but let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Well, here's a look at it. So there's going to be 2 different incidents that happened, but we're going to look at this because this was the big part. But first, yeah, there you see it looked like Chris Michaels shoved Zach Flickinger up into DJ Curtis, and then look at this. Same situation with Jefferson, McCrory, and Trent Dunham. Trent Dunham goes into the catch fence, and then look at that. Unbelievable impact from the 23 of Chris Dollerton, and it sent Trent Dunham flipping every which way. That whole ride from starting up into the wall, into the catch fence, and then flipping wildly, that is one of the scariest rides I think I have ever seen in the history of this channel. But yeah, we're gonna look at both shots here. But yeah, it looked like Jay Jefferson just runs up into Anthony McCrory, and McCrory up into Trent Dunham, like as if the 61 was like the meat in the sandwich, and then Jefferson ended up flipping a couple times. But just look at this impact. Hard impact, and then that hit right there from Tim Fiegel into the 23 of Dollerton is what sent Dollerton flipping. Let's watch, oh, and right there, that was what happened to Rafael LeDuc. He just barely touched the 23 of Dollerton in a very soft spot on the cars and caused his engine to explode. And the same thing happened with Dorian Facepuncher. We'll take a look at that Dylan Young situation here in just a second. But I'm curious to see, how did Dorian Facepuncher get damage? Oh, it might have been just similar to Dollerton and LeDuc. Let's see. Right there, a little touch from Trent Dunham when he flew back out just hit him in a soft spot similar to LeDuc and caused both their engines to explode. But let's watch the aftermath up here. Oh, it was Jay Jefferson trying to get on pit road and gets into Charles Jackson, into Dylan Young, and then into Peachy London, and then I see Kyle Keith get spun. How in the world did this happen? Oh, it was when they were trying to avoid the 61 trying to come into pit road, and Potee runs up into McCrory and then down into Keith. So yeah, a lot of different situations happened to cause this entire mess to occur. But let's go back and look at the DJ Curtis part of the crash, because this happened just a couple cars behind the Trent Dunham incident. But let's see. Yeah, right there, it was contact from Chris Michaels into Flickinger, and that sent Flickinger up into DJ Curtis, and it put DJ Curtis into the wall, and he was just along for the ride. And right there, contact with Trent Dunham completely destroys his car with the motor, and then he's going to get hit again right there as Tim Fiegel slams into him going backwards, and ended up causing a major problem for the 14 after the fact. But man, just complete and utter chaos ensued in turns 3 and 4, and it started with 2 different incidents where drivers were not giving each other a lot of room on the racetrack. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Las Vegas. Well, after that caution came out, several cars are out of the race, and they include Rafael LeDuc, Dorian Facepuncher, Tim Fiegel, DJ Curtis, Trent Dunham, Jay Jefferson, and Chris Dollerton. Anthony McCrory a lap down, so we are down to 34 cars on the lead lap, 35 on track. Matt McIntyre currently is your leader. Second is Paul Minnick. Third is Sean Galligan. Fourth is Austin LaPlante. Fifth is Johnny Gardner. Sixth is Carson Gumbs. Seventh, Seth Cole. Eighth is Dougie Shears. Ninth, Zach Flickinger. 10th is James McLeod. 11th is Benjamin Miles. Or wait a second. Oh, I'm looking at fastest lap. My mistake. 11th, Benjamin Miles. 12th, Chris Michaels. 13th, David Rivera. 14th, Mark Lane. 15th, James Qualls. 16th is Jonathan Zorling. 17th, Dylan Poteet. 18th, Dylan Thoreau. 19th, Dylan Jacobs. 20th, Jake Baskinger. Trying to get up to the leader. There we go. Green flag is back out with 21 laps to go, so we're at the halfway point roughly. But let's go back to the 61 of Anthony McCrory since he is damaged and off the pace. Oh, and there he gets turned. Gets turned by James Qualls. Oh, and they're crashing up ahead. Dylan Jacobs. Oh, hard impact into the wall for Phil Parker. And then he gets hit in the side by Chris Michaels. Aftermath of something else that happened, and Dylan Jacobs gets damage. And McCrory got turned and got more damage than he already did. Mark Lane was involved. Dylan Thoreau was in it. Caution comes out once again. After 2 incidents get collected into 1, and Paul Minnick managed to get to the lead in time. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Las Vegas. Well, here's a look at how all this unfolded. First, James Qualls gets a big run, but David Rivera doesn't realize Qualls was having that big run and came down into the 70. And as the 70 tries to catch his car and get back on track, he gets into the 61 of Anthony McCrory, and then right there, little contact with Mark Lane, and then I believe somewhere up in here, oh man, they were 4 wide for a second up here, and now, oh, and just because they were running out of room, Chris Michaels gets up into Dylan Jacobs, into Mark Lane. Joshua Collard ended up getting involved, Dylan Thoreau as well, and then watch Phil Parker. Big hit and comes up in front of Kyle Matthews and just slammed into the outside wall. And then watch as Chris Michaels comes down and then Phil Parker slides in front of him. And Chris hits him in the right side and sent him for a barrel roll for about 1.5 to 2 times over. So wild ride for the 12 of Phil Parker. But yeah, it was a couple of different issues that happened to cause this entire mess to unfold, but Paul Minnick managed to get to the lead in time, so let's go ahead and take you to the restart once again here at Las Vegas. So after that last caution, 3 more cars are officially done for the day, and they are Dylan Jacobs, Chris Michaels, and Phil Parker. So we're down to 32 cars on track, 31 on the lead lap. Paul Minnick is still your race leader. Second is Austin LaPlante. Third is Sean Galligan. Fourth is Matt McIntyre. Fifth is Carson Gum. Sixth is Johnny Gardner. Seventh is Zach Flickinger. Eighth, Seth Cole. Ninth, Dougie Shears. 10th, David Rivera. 11th is James McLeod. 12th is Kyle Keith. 13th is Jonathan Zorline. 14th is Jake Baskinger. 15th, Charles Sanford. 16th, Joshua Sakuli. 17th, James Qualls. 18th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 19th, Benjamin Miles. 20th is Dylan Young. 21st is Kyle Matthews. 22nd, Pichu London. 23rd, Charles Jackson. 24th, James Shelley. 25th, Jake Rogers. 26th is Preston Blord. 27th, Mark Lane. 28th, Dylan Pote. 29th, Jessica Sheldon. 30th, Dylan Thoreau. 31st, Joshua Collard. And then 32nd, one lap down, is Anthony McCurry. And on this restart, we're going to stick with the 61 to keep an eye out for anything that might happen. Just like what happened on the last restart. But right now it looks like most everybody's going to the outside lane to go by the 61, but some cars are now going to get held up, like Zorline and Baskinger are getting held up now by the 61. This could cause some problems if they don't get down or get up. Some cars now going to go up the high line, but a bunch of cars are getting held up by that 61 car. If I was McCurry, I would try, well, now it's going to be no matter where he goes, people are going to get held up. And he actually touched the wall a little bit, and now he's going to get moved up 3 wide now as a result. Or at least he was for a second. And now they're going to finally all get clear of him. But back up here at the front, Matt McIntyre, after all that, retakes the top spot on track, and now Flickinger goes to the lead with Seth Cole right on his tail. And basically, it's only the top 10 up here racing big time up at the front. And it's a separation on back, a little over a second separates the 48 from the 79. But you gotta wonder if the 79 and the 70 are faster than the guys up ahead. Let's see the margin differences. Relatively the same. But Matt McIntyre still has the lead as it's now less than 13 to go here in Vegas. And look at Dougie Shears in the 83. He has not had the best of seasons in this series since it was made, because he keeps on missing races due to not qualifying in the go or go home sessions. But he's in today, and he is having a very good day up here in the second spot right now. Battle for fourth, Galligan trying to get clear of the 6 of David Rivera, and he does clear him. And now you're seeing everybody else, the 79 to 70 and the 03, all slowly catching up to the top 10. And they just caught McCurry again, and oh, a side swipe from Sakuli. But they are keeping it together, but man, I don't understand why NNSCRA officials have not taken that 61 car off the racetrack. He is only going 160 some miles an hour, so really, if I were NNSCRA officials, I would try and do what I can to get that 61 car off the racetrack. But right now, the only car he's seemingly holding up is the 2 of Dylan Young for the time being. I'm trying to get back up to the front, and there we are. Matt McIntyre still has the race lead right now, but Seth Cole up to second, and look at Carson Gum in that 19. He's trying to get up to third, and he does get there. But man, things are gonna get pretty racy up here for the final laps of the day, as it's now less than 8 to go here in Vegas. Flickinger's still up here, and look at Sekuli. Despite getting sideswiped into Anthony McCurry, he's now found himself up here in the top 5. Sekuli trying to go for win number 2 this season. He won the Daytona 500. He's looking to go for his second win this season, and he has a good chance of making that happen. Now they just came across the 43 of Joshua Collard, who may be a bit off the pace as well. And he's holding up Flickinger, Gum, Cole, and Minnick right now. And now they're catching McCurry again. So like I said, I wish the NNSCRA... Oh, man, and he almost caused a wreck. That is proof that the NNSCRA officials need to get that 61 off the racetrack. He almost caused a massive crash with the leaders. But anyways, because of that, now Joshua Sekuli takes the race lead, as Matt McIntyre might have just gotten robbed of the win, all because of that slow 61 car getting in the way for absolutely no reason at all. But we got less than 4 laps to go. Maybe something can still happen for some of these guys to get up to the front again. Sekuli has the spot, but here comes Gardner with the run on the inside. Gardner with the run, but Qualls is there too. But more lap traffic causing people to get held up again, as it's now 3 to go here in Vegas, and now 3 wide for the lead, even though one car was a lap down or slow. Qualls going up to the point. But look at Galligan in the 44, who after Michigan made it back into the top 30 in points. He's looking to get a win to get himself in the hunt for the wild card in the chase. 2 to go now here at Vegas. Qualls, the points leader, trying to extend on that points lead. But look at Matt McIntyre, who got robbed of the lead earlier from the slow number 61. He's coming back into the fray. It's not quite over yet for some of these drivers. But the 70, Qualls sacrifices the lead to come into pit road. Oh man, that is heartbreaking as the white flag is out. White flag is out, and Matt McIntyre gets back up to the front again. But man, that is a heartbreaker for the 70 of Qualls. Had to come to pit road before they got to the white flag. That is heartbreaking right there. Nobody else up here at the front's coming into pit road. Coming off of 4, checkered flag waving. Matt McIntyre wins the UAW Dodge 400 at Las Vegas. After what he thought might have screwed him over with the race with the 61 of Anthony McCurry, he manages to come back and win at Vegas. But what a race this was. Despite a couple crashes during the midway point of the race, we managed to get ourselves to the end of the race, and an interesting finish to say the very least, with Qualls having to come into pit road before the white flag and causing a final lap pass for the lead, the 24 over the 44. But let's look at the rest of the results. Johnny Gardner, best finish of the season in the 2nd position. Sean Galligan, great run in the 3rd spot. Joshua Sekuli came close to getting win number 2, but comes out 4th. And then Dougie Shears in 5th. Seth Cole with a great run in the 6th position. David Rivera possibly could take the points lead over as he finished 7th. Carson Gum finished 8th, Austin LaPlante 9th, and then Charles Sanford solid run in the 10th position. Rest of the top 20 was Zach Flickinger, Kyle Keith, Benjamin Miles, Dylan Poteet, Jake Baskinger, Jonathan Zorline, Preston Plord, James Shelley, Peachy London, Jessica Sheldon, and the rest of the cars that finished on the lead lap were Charles Jackson, Dylan Young, and Jake Rogers. And then everyone else that finished were a lap or more down. James Qualls, Kyle Matthews, Mark Lane, Paul Minnick, Joshua Collard, James McLeod, Dylan Thoreau, Emmanuel Hardnett, and Anthony McCrory. And everybody else finished out of the race after the 2 cautions that came out. Dylan Jacobs, Chris Michaels, Phil Parker, Rafael LeDuc, Dorian Facepuncher, Tim Fiegel, DJ Curtis, Trent Dunham, Jay Jefferson, and Chris Dollarton. So that does it for our coverage here today here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next week we head back to an old favorite road course, Sawmill Raceway, for the Jack in the Box 350. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Sawmill, and this is Levi McIntyre signing off.